So one way that I've always said could help Wuthering Waves grow a lot in the future is collaborations. Now, obviously collaborations have been happening with Wuthering Waves for quite a while now, especially with version 2.0 coming out. I'm pretty sure I counted around about 10 to 13 different collaborations that Wuthering Waves Korea, Wuthering Waves Japan were all doing, but it seems like we are lacking over in the West department, so maybe they could do a little bit more of that. But recently there's been some new information about some other things that have come out which are actually really exciting for the game, and it could mean that we might be getting a super big anime collaboration coming to Wuthering Waves in the future. But before I get into this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you guys do enjoy this, and also go to Game Subs, use my code CASA where you can get yourself 10% off a ton of custom tubs. I definitely recommend going over there. They've got a ton of really cool things out at the moment, so yeah, go over there, take a look, and then you can get 10% off just by using my code CASA. Let's get back into the video. So this is one of the posts I saw. Now it's only about like 36 likes, but honestly it's a very informative post saying Lack Sensei and Type Moon's author Makoto Sanda were seen enjoying Wuthering Waves since Wuthering Waves 2.0 started and debuted on PS5. Wholesome to see the Type Moon staff enjoying the game as Kuro Games put hefty amounts of Type Moon references in their games. So yeah, if you guys don't know, there's a ton of Type Moon references, including a lot of Fate stuff. If you don't know, Type Moon are a video game company who pretty much produce a lot of stuff that you've seen, including like Fate. And well, obviously Carlotta, the character herself, kind of proves how much inspiration they've taken from Fate, as they've used the voice actor for Rin Tosaka on her, and they do look pretty similar with the kind of parted bang kind of thing going on and everything like that, which is really great as a person who recently got into Fate this year. So again, it's really nice to see that they are adding these references and kind of taking a lot of inspiration from some of these anime. But what's more important is this post, which they what's on this post as well, from Lack, who is actually an artist for Fate Go. Now, they've made a couple of characters in the game. Fate Go is another gacha game, which pretty much, as you can guess, has a lot of Fate characters in it. And, well, it's really exciting to see that, they're saying, sorry, it's a god game. And then Makoto Sanda, who also works for Type Moon, who makes these kind of games to do with Fate and everything like that, also puts, I started with PS, meaning I'm guessing that means he started with the PlayStation, which is actually very exciting because it means that the PlayStation version is actually working and bringing in a lot of new players, including, authors for Type Moon, which is absolutely insane. And then obviously this conversation continues. Lack goes on to say the story is quite difficult to understand at the beginning, so if you can play through the first 4 chapters thinking of it as training, the rest of the game will be a lot of fun. So obviously they're talking about the kind of downsides of the early story of Wuthering Waves, which again is completely true, and it seems like they do understand that the story does get better later on, and that it's just a kind of fault of the first couple of chapters of Wuthering Waves. And then obviously they keep going on, and then Makoto actually replies saying we're in the 7th act now, the 6th act was amazing. So again, it seems like they're both really enjoying this game. And then Lack also replies to that saying, I'm being overtaken, the way they stepped up their game in the 6th act was intense. So again, it really seems like these two authors slash artists, or whatever you want to call them, obviously I think Makoto is an author and then Lack is the artist themselves. So again, it seems like they're really enjoying this kind of Wuthering Waves gameplay. It's going to be very exciting to see if they do kind of speak to their company or whatever, because I'm not sure how much kind of pulling power they do have in terms of, at Type Moon. Maybe Makoto has a little bit more, seeing as, they are an author for some games. I don't think they've actually done any kind of writing for Fate. I did look a little bit back through their discography and stuff like that. It seems like they've done other games, but they are still part of it. And obviously, Fate as a series is no stranger to actually doing collaborations. For example, this Honkai Star collaboration, which we're all very excited for, which is supposed to come out this year. It says, Dear Trailblazers, the Honkai Star X Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works collaboration will begin in Q3 of 2025, so we'll have to wait for Q3 of this year to find out what this actually means. But it would be really exciting if we saw more stuff like this coming over to Wuthering Waves 2, not only because it boosts the amount of players that are coming over, because rinascita has been a massive success. Let's just talk about that. Rinascita, really good, and the story has brought over a lot of players. But what will bring even more players over? Collaborating with some really big companies. And then I said at the start of the video, they've been collaborating with a lot of companies across the sea in like Korea and places like that. But let's actually get some collaborations which people can actually get excited for, which will actually bring people over to the game. Because let's be real, doing a collaboration with some kind of chicken shop isn't really going to get a lot of your customers to come over to play the game. It might get a few of them, obviously, because they're going to see the advertising. But I do think doing an anime collaboration just with another anime out there, whether it's Fate or whether it's a different anime altogether, honestly, I do think it could bring over a lot of players. Now, obviously, I don't want it to affect the overall kind of game itself and the lore, because then it would just seem a little bit too cheesy. As I said this before, they've got to be very careful with what they do, because, Wuthering Waves has built up this massive world, and you don't want it to turn into like Fortnite, where you got like random ass like skins or random, something or other just like dotted around the world, which makes no sense and kind of breaks that immersion that you're in. So it would be nice to see if they have some kind of way that they could do that, maybe through like an event, something like that. We're gonna have to see how Honkai Star Rail does it, because obviously Honkai Star Rail does also take their lore pretty seriously and their world building pretty seriously. So maybe it's going to be something like an event or something like that, but maybe Wuthering Waves could also copy this and do something similar. But again, we'll have to wait and see if anything kind of happens with that. Obviously, you know, them just talking about it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that it's confirmed. It doesn't mean that, you know, they are super interested to the point where they actually want a collaboration. It is really cool to see that there are people from these kind of media facets actually seeing this kind of stuff and actually playing Wuthering Waves and enjoying it, because let's just remember, the key point is that they're enjoying it enough that they've actually tweeted about it and had a conversation about it. You know, that's why they're doing so good. Now, obviously, yeah, I would really like to see a fake collab. I think, you know, a Rin Tosaka skill for Carlotta would actually be so cool. Honestly, bro, I'd buy that in like an instant. I don't even care. But honestly, what's the kind of chance of this happening? I'd say so far pretty low, because we haven't seen any collaborations from Wuthering Waves in terms of anime collabs, things like that. But it would be really nice to see some in the actual game, you know, soon. I also just wanted to quickly bring up this post because I wouldn't have a full video to make on it, but it's a post from Naoshio saying that Kuro Games actually donated 2 million yuan to aid the earthquake-stricken areas in Shigatse, Tibet. Now, obviously, you know, this is a little bit different from the collaboration stuff that I was talking about, but it does prove how much Kuro Games are being generous with their money and everything like that. 2 million yuan is about the equivalent of about like $270,000, which is actually really nice. Now, I don't really know what's been happening over in Tibet, but it seems like they have had some problems with earthquakes, and it's nice to see that Kuro Games and also some other gacha game companies, because it wasn't just Kuro Games that did this. I saw like I think it was like Hypergriff or something like that also donate a lot of their money over to Tibet to help them out with stuff that's going on with the earthquakes. And it just proves how much of a nice company that Kuro Games have been and how much they actually want to help, because again, and also just in terms of financially, I think that a lot of people, you know, they say, oh, you know, the game's EOS, they don't have enough money. Well, if they've got enough money to be handing out 200,000, you know, in like charity money, I'm pretty sure they're doing pretty good for themselves. And it's nice to see that Kuro Games are using the spare money to actually give it back to the community, I guess, because obviously Tibet is, you know, nearby. And they go on to say that there was a message from Kuro Games saying, joining hands to aid disaster areas, bringing warmth together. And they say, on January 7th, a magnitude 6.8 earthquake, Jesus Christ, struck Dingri County in Shigatse City, Tibet, gripping the hearts of people across the nation. We deeply understand the love and unity are critical forces in overcoming disasters. To assist the disaster-affected areas in Tibet in overcoming their difficulties, Kuro Games has decided to donate 2 million yuan through the Guangzhou Charity Association. This donation will be used for emergency relief and subsequent reconstruction efforts in the disaster areas. At the same time, we express our highest respect to every hero on the front lines of disaster relief. Though natural disasters are merciless, love exists among humanity. We pray for the people in the disaster-affected areas to return to normal life and rebuild their homes as soon as possible. So again, that's really great from Kuro Games, and I'm glad to see that they are kind of giving back to their community a little bit. You know, obviously, you know, these people in Tibet, I don't think many of them are playing Wuthering Waves. They're still sending their money in the right direction to people who actually need it. And obviously, we've seen a lot of stuff like that recently with the fires in America and things like that. But overall, it's a kind of crazy situation. I'm very excited to see if, you know, a collaboration will actually form from some of these tweets and from some of these Type Moon kind of employees, you know, focusing on Wuthering Waves and getting excited about it. And also, it is really good to see that Kuro Games are kind of, you know, donating their money to some really good causes at the moment. And I'll definitely keep you guys updated if anything else happens with this. And if anything else happens with these collaborations or anything else happens with this charity donation, etc. So again, if you guys did enjoy this video, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And also go to GameStop, use my code KAZO, and get yourself 10% off a ton of cups and tubs. Definitely recommend going over there. Again, really cool place. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.